The morning alarm buzzed through the halls of Diplomatic Station Harmony. Ambassador Lisa Morgan rubbed her tired eyes and looked at the reports on her desk. 3 more human colonies attacked last week. 47 people dead. The Zephyrians had struck again. Lisa walked to the large window of her office. Below her, the blue and green earth spun slowly. Beautiful and peaceful, just like the galaxy thought humans were. Peaceful. Weak. Easy targets. "Ambassador Admiral Collins is here to see you," her assistant said through the speaker. "Send him in." Admiral Jake Collins entered the room. His face was red with anger. Lisa had seen that look many times in the past 3 years. Jake was tired of watching humans die while they did nothing. "Lisa, we can't keep doing this," Jake said. He threw a datapad on her desk. "Look at these numbers. The Zephyrians killed 200 civilians on New Denver yesterday. 200. And what did the Galactic Council say? They called it a minor border dispute." Lisa picked up the datapad. Pictures of destroyed homes filled the screen. Bodies of families who had been farming just hours before the attack. Children who would never grow up. She felt sick. "I know, Jake, but we have to be careful. If we show our true strength too early, the entire galaxy will turn against us." Jake laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Turn against us, Lisa? They already think we're jokes. The Zephyrians are telling everyone that humans are the weakest species in the galaxy. Other races are starting to believe them." Dr. Amy Watson knocked on the door and entered. She carried a thick folder marked "Top Secret" in red letters. Amy studied alien cultures for Earth's government. She understood how other species thought better than anyone. "I have the intelligence report you asked for," Amy said. Her voice was quiet and worried. "It's worse than we thought." Lisa and Jake both turned to look at her. Amy opened the folder and spread out several documents on the desk. "The Zephyrians are planning something big. Our spies inside their empire heard their war council last week. They're calling it Operation Swift End. They want to attack 15 of our outer colonies at the same time." Jake stood up so fast his chair fell over. 15 colonies? That's over 3 million people." Amy nodded. "They think it will be easy. Their generals are laughing about it. They say humans will surrender after losing so many people at once. They think we don't have the stomach for real war." Lisa felt cold. She had spent 50 years building Earth's reputation as a peaceful species. It had worked too well. The galaxy saw humans as harmless farmers and traders. They had no idea what Earth was really capable of. "When?" Lisa asked. 3 weeks, maybe less." Jake started pacing around the room. "We have to stop this. We can't let them murder 3 million humans just to keep our secret." Lisa was quiet for a long time. She thought about all the meetings with alien ambassadors, all the times she had smiled and been polite while they insulted her species, all the times she had agreed to unfair trade deals to keep the peace. It had all been an act, a very careful act. Captain Ben Harper's voice came through the communication system. "Ambassador Morgan, we have an urgent message from the Galactic Council." "Put it through," Lisa said. The hologram of Counselor Veltar appeared in the room. The tall, blue alien looked down at them with obvious disrespect. Lisa had seen that look from many aliens over the years. "Ambassador Morgan, the Zephyrian Empire has filed another complaint against human ships in their territory. They say your people are being aggressive again." Lisa almost laughed. Human ships were the most peaceful in the galaxy. Their weapons were always powered down. Their shields were set to minimum. They never fired first, even when attacked. "Counselor, we have evidence that Zephyrian ships attacked our colony on New Denver. They killed 200 civilians." Veltar waved one of his 4 arms dismissively. "The Zephyrians say they were defending themselves. Your colonists must have threatened them somehow. Perhaps humans should avoid that region of space if they cannot behave peacefully." The hologram disappeared. Jake looked like he wanted to hit something. Amy shook her head sadly. Lisa just stared at the empty space where the alien had been. 50 years, Lisa said quietly. 50 years of being patient. 50 years of letting them think we're weak. And this is what it gets us. She walked to her. private safe, and entered a code that only 3 people in the galaxy knew. Inside was a single red folder marked Protocol 7. Jake and Amy watched as she opened it. They had heard rumors about Protocol 7, but nobody knew what it really was. "Jake, I want you to send a message to General Mitchell at Defense Command. Tell him to prepare the real fleet." Jake's eyes went wide. "Lisa, are you sure? Once we do this, there's no going back. The whole galaxy will know what we really are." Lisa looked at the pictures on the datapad again. Dead children, destroyed homes, 3 million more humans about to die while the galaxy laughed at Earth's weakness. "The Zephyrians want to see what humans do when we stop being polite," she said. Her voice was cold as space. "I think it's time to show them." Amy gathered up her reports. "I'll prepare intelligence briefings for all our hidden bases. They'll need to know everything about Zephyrian fleet movements." Jake was already reaching for his communication device. "General Mitchell is going to be very happy to hear this. He's been wanting to take the gloves off for years." As her 2 advisors left the room, Lisa stood alone looking at Earth. Beautiful and peaceful. But underneath that peaceful surface was something the galaxy had never seen. Something they had no idea existed. The Zephyrians thought humans were weak because they had never seen humans fight a real war. They were about to learn the difference between choosing not to fight and being unable to fight. Lisa activated her personal communication channel to the President of Earth. "Madam President, this is Ambassador Morgan. I'm requesting authorization for Protocol 7. It's time to stop pretending." 2 weeks later, the Zephyrian war fleet moved toward Haven Colony like a dark cloud. Admiral Zekmor commanded 300 warships, the largest attack force his empire had ever sent against humans. He smiled as he watched the peaceful farming world grow larger on his screens. "Sir, we are detecting human ships," his tactical officer reported. "How many?" Zekmor asked. "Only 12, sir. Small patrol vessels. They are requesting communication." Zekmor laughed. 12 tiny human ships against his massive fleet. This would be over in minutes. Ignore them. Begin the attack. On Haven Colony, farmers looked up at the sky as explosions lit up the darkness. General Ryan Mitchell watched from his hidden command center buried deep underground. For 30 years, he had waited for this moment. 30 years of watching humans die while pretending to be weak. "Ghost Squadron, you are cleared to engage," he spoke into his headset. In space above the planet, Commander Steve Johnson received the order he had been waiting for his entire career. His 12 ships looked small and helpless compared to the Zephyrian fleet. That was exactly how they were supposed to look. "Ghost Squadron, activate stealth systems. Let's show these aliens what real Earth ships can do." The 12 human patrol vessels suddenly disappeared from all sensors. The Zephyrians stopped firing and looked around in confusion. Where had the human ships gone? "Sir, we've lost them on all sensors," the tactical officer reported to Admiral Zekmor. "Impossible. Ships can't just disappear. Keep scanning." What the Zephyrians didn't know was that human technology was 50 years ahead of anything else in the galaxy. While other species had been fighting each other, Earth had been quietly developing weapons and ships in secret. The stealth systems on Ghost Squadron were beyond anything the aliens could imagine. Steve Johnson's ship reappeared directly behind the Zephyrian flagship. Before the aliens could react, he fired a single shot. The energy beam cut through their shields like they weren't even there. The massive warship exploded in a ball of fire. Across the fleet, the other Ghost Squadron ships appeared and disappeared like ghosts. Each time they fired, another Zephyrian ship died. The aliens had never seen anything like it. Their weapons couldn't lock onto targets they couldn't see. Their shields were useless against human weapons. In the hidden command center, Engineer Kelly Brooks watched the battle on her screens. She had designed the weapons that Ghost Squadron was using. For years, other humans had called her work a waste of resources. Who needed such powerful weapons when Earth was at peace? "Kelly, your particle cannons are working perfectly," General Mitchell said. "The Zephyrian shields might as well be made of paper." Kelly smiled. "Wait until you see what the main fleet can do. These are just our light weapons." On Earth, Senator Paul Davis stood in the war room watching reports come in from Haven Colony. He had been one of only 5 people who knew about Earth's secret military program. For decades, he had helped hide billions of dollars in defense spending from the galaxy's spies. "Mr. Senator, the Zephyrian fleet is retreating," an aide reported. Paul nodded. "How many of their ships survived?" 23 out of 300. Sir, Ghost Squadron took no losses. Paul felt a mix of pride and sadness. Pride that human technology was so advanced. Sadness that they had been forced to reveal it. The galaxy would never see Earth the same way again. In space above Haven Colony, Admiral Zekmore stared at his tactical display in horror. In less than 1 hour, 12 human ships had destroyed his entire fleet. Ships that had seemed harmless and weak had turned out to be the most advanced weapons he had ever seen. Communications sent an emergency message to the Emperor. "Tell him the humans are not what we thought. Tell him we need to retreat immediately." But it was too late for a quiet retreat. Across the galaxy, news of the battle spread quickly. Every species had spies watching human space, expecting to see the Zephyrians crush Earth's outer colonies. Instead, they saw something impossible. On the Krillian homeworld, Supreme Commander Velkoth watched recordings of the battle with growing fear. He had been planning to attack human trading posts next month. His fleet of 500 ships had seemed more than enough to handle weak human defenses. "Cancel Operation Gold Rush," he ordered his staff. "If 12 human patrol ships can destroy 300 Zephyrian warships, what could their real fleet do to us?" The Void-touched Empire received similar reports. Their War Council met in emergency session. For months, they had been building a massive invasion fleet to carve up human territory. Those plans were now forgotten. Back on Earth, General Mitchell received reports from monitoring stations across human space. Hidden bases that had pretended to be mining colonies for decades were coming online. Massive weapon platforms disguised, as civilian structures were powering up their true systems. "Kelly, begin Phase 2 activation," he ordered. Engineer Brooks entered commands into her computer. Across human space, the illusion began to fall away. Asteroid mining facilities revealed, massive shipyards hidden inside them. Civilian space stations sprouted weapon turrets and shield generators. Research laboratories opened their hidden launch bays. "Sir, all hidden facilities are online. The real Earth Defense Fleet is ready to deploy." General Mitchell looked at the tactical display showing Earth's true military strength. Over 2,000 warships that the galaxy had never known existed. Weapon platforms that could destroy entire fleets. Technology that made other species look primitive. "Send a message to Admiral Collins at Diplomatic Station Harmony. Tell him Phase 2 is complete. The mask is off." On Haven Colony, the surviving colonists came out of their shelters to see the wreckage of the Zephyrian fleet burning in space above them. Commander Johnson's Ghost Squadron had saved their lives, but everyone knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy had spent 50 years thinking humans were weak farmers and traders. They had laughed at Earth's peaceful nature and gentle diplomacy. They had seen human restraint as human weakness. Now they knew the truth. Humans hadn't been weak. They had been merciful, and that mercy was about to end. In his command center, General Mitchell opened a secure channel to President Carter on Earth. "Madam President, the Zephyrians have seen what our patrol ships can do. I recommend we show them what our real fleet looks like before they decide to attack Earth itself." The President's voice was calm but cold. "Approved, General. It's time the galaxy learned what humans really are." The Galactic Council emergency session had never seen so many species attend at once. Representatives from every major empire filled the massive chamber. They all wanted answers about what had happened at Haven Colony. President Helen Carter walked to the speaking platform in the center of the room. For 50 years, human leaders had stood in this same spot asking politely for fairness. Today would be different. "Fellow members of the Galactic Council," she began. Her voice was calm, but everyone could hear the steel underneath. "For half a century, Earth has been a peaceful member of this body. We have followed every rule. We have honored every treaty. We have shown patience when others showed us aggression." The alien representatives shifted uncomfortably in their seats. They had all heard the reports from Haven Colony. 12 human ships destroying 300 Zephyrian warships was impossible. Yet it had happened. The Zephyrian Empire has spent 3 years attacking our colonies, killing our civilians, destroying our homes. Each time we asked this council for justice. Each time you told us to be more understanding. Emperor Zarthok of the Zephyrians stood up from his seat. His massive form towered over the other delegates. The humans lie. Our forces were defending themselves against human aggression. President Carter turned to look at him. Her smile was cold. Your Majesty, would you like to see the battle recordings? I have them right here. She activated a holographic projector. The chamber filled with images of the Haven colony battle. The assembled aliens watched in stunned silence as 12 human ships appeared and disappeared like ghosts, destroying the Zephyrian fleet with ease. This is impossible, whispered the Corvin ambassador. No species has technology this advanced. President Carter let the recording finish before speaking again. The Zephyrian Empire attacked our colony with 300 warships. Our patrol vessels defended our people. This is what happened when they forced us to fight back. Dr. Carl Peterson stood behind the president, watching the alien reactions carefully. He had spent years studying military strategy and knew what each species was thinking. Fear was spreading through the chamber like wildfire. But how? Asked the Veltari Prime Minister. Human technology has always been basic. Your ships were weak. Your weapons were primitive. Were they? President Carter asked. Or did we simply choose to appear that way? She activated another projection. This time it showed images of Earth's hidden military bases. Massive shipyards inside asteroids. Weapon platforms disguised as civilian stations. Thousands of advanced warships emerging from secret facilities. For 30 years we have been building this fleet in secret. Not to conquer anyone, not to threaten anyone, but to protect ourselves if diplomacy failed. Admiral Nicole Reed stepped forward. She commanded Earth's main battle fleet, ships so advanced that most aliens couldn't understand how they worked. The Terran Defense Force consists of 2,300 active warships. Each one carries technology 50 years ahead of current galactic standards. We have been holding back our true capabilities to maintain peace. The chamber erupted in shocked voices. Species that had been planning to attack human territory were suddenly reconsidering. The Krillian Syndicate delegation looked terrified. The void-touched representatives were whispering urgently among themselves. Captain Maya Foster watched from the observation deck. Her job was intelligence gathering, and she had spent months infiltrating alien governments. She knew exactly which species had been planning to join the Zephyrians in attacking Earth. President Carter has more to tell you, she had reported earlier. 7 different empires have been building fleets to attack human colonies. They all think we're too weak to fight back. Now those same empires were learning the truth. President Carter raised her hand for silence. We know about Operation Swift End. We know about the planned attacks on 15 of our colonies. We also know which other species were planning to join the assault. She looked directly at the Krillian delegation. Supreme Commander Velkoth, did you really think we didn't notice you building 800 warships at your hidden base near the Titan Nebula? The Krillian ambassador's face went pale. They had thought that base was completely secret, and, to our friends from the void-touched empire, the president continued, your fleet of 1,200 ships in the Omega sector is also well known to us, as are the fleets being built by the Hegemony, the Star Kingdoms, the Trade Federation, and the Collective. Stunned silence filled the chamber. Every aggressive species in the galaxy had been planning to attack Earth, thinking humans were easy prey. Now they realized Earth had been watching them the entire time. Emperor Zarthok stood up again, his voice filled with rage. You dare threaten the great powers of the galaxy? Humans are nothing. We will crush your pathetic species and take your worlds. President Carter looked at him calmly. Your Majesty, this brings me to the reason I called this session. Earth is issuing a formal warning to all aggressive species. The chamber became completely quiet. Every alien representative leaned forward to hear what she would say next. Stop attacking human colonies. Stop planning invasions of our territory. Stop treating our patience as weakness. Her voice grew harder with each word. Because if you continue these attacks, we will stop pretending to be polite. Dr. Peterson stepped forward with a datapad. We have prepared detailed analyses of every military fleet in the galaxy. Our assessment is that the combined forces of all aggressive species would be insufficient to defeat Earth's true military capabilities. This is madness, shouted the Corvin representative. No single species can stand against the entire galaxy. Admiral Reed smiled. Would you like a demonstration? We can arrange for a small portion of our fleet to visit your systems, just to show you what our basic technology can really do. The threats were working. Captain Foster could see panic spreading through the alien delegations. Species that had spent decades building military strength suddenly felt helpless. But Emperor Zarthok was too proud to back down. The Zephyrian Empire does not bow to threats from weak humans. We will attack your homeworld itself. We will show the galaxy that Earth can be conquered. President Carter nodded as if she had expected this response. Your Majesty, you are welcome to try. But I should warn you, what you saw at Haven Colony was just our patrol fleet. Our actual military might is something this galaxy has never witnessed. She turned to address the entire assembly. To those species who wish to live in peace, Earth remains committed to diplomacy and cooperation. To those who choose aggression, you now know the consequences. As the session ended, alien representatives rushed to contact their governments, some to cancel planned attacks, others to beg for protection. A few, like the Zephyrians, to prepare for war. Dr. Peterson approached the president as they left the chamber. Madam President, intelligence suggests Emperor Zarthok is already ordering his grand fleet to attack Earth directly. He's gathering every ship in his empire. President Carter looked out at the stars through the station's windows. Then we'll be ready for them, Doctor. It's time the galaxy learned what happens when you force humanity to stop playing nice. The warning had been delivered. Now they would see who was wise enough to listen. Emperor Zarthok stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Conquest. Around him floated the largest war fleet in galactic history. 5,000 Zephyrian warships filled the space near Earth's system. Every vessel in his empire had been called to this battle. Today we will show the galaxy that humans are nothing but cowards with clever tricks, he announced to his fleet. When we destroy their homeworld, every species will remember the power of the Zephyrian Empire. Dr. Rachel Kim watched the approaching fleet from her laboratory on Luna. She had spent 15 years developing weapons that could disable enemy ships without killing their crews. Other scientists called her work wasteful. Why show mercy to enemies? But Rachel believed there was always a choice between destruction and victory. Admiral Brooks, the Zephyrian fleet will reach Earth in 6 hours. All our Mercy-class weapons are ready. Fleet Admiral Tony Brooks commanded the largest military force Earth had ever assembled, but his fleet was hidden throughout the solar system, invisible to enemy sensors. The Zephyrians thought they were attacking a defenseless world. Dr. Kim, I want you to know that your weapons might save millions of lives today. Even Zephyrian lives. Captain Danny Walsh sat in the pilot seat of his experimental ship, the Retribution. His vessel carried technology that no other species had even dreamed of. Trans-dimensional engines that could move through space in ways that seemed impossible. Ghost. Leader to all units, he spoke into his headset. The Zephyrians are about to learn why Earth kept its real technology secret. As the Zephyrian fleet approached Earth, Emperor Zarthok smiled at what he saw. The blue planet looked peaceful and undefended. A few civilian ships moved slowly around orbital stations. No military vessels were visible anywhere. Just as I expected, he told his officers. The humans were bluffing. They have no real fleet to defend their homeworld. Commander Linda Hayes led the Terran Marine Corps from her command ship in the asteroid belt. Her soldiers were trained for boarding operations and planetary defense. But today they would be capturing enemy vessels instead of defending colonies. Marines, prepare for the largest boarding operation in human history. We're going to take their entire fleet as prisoners. The trap was perfectly set. Earth's moon had been converted into a massive weapons platform over the past 30 years. What looked like lunar cities were actually fortress-class battle stations. The civilian orbital platforms around Earth were disguised military bases. Emperor Zarthok gave the order to attack. All ships begin bombardment of the human homeworld. Show them the price of defying the Zephyrian Empire. The moment his fleet opened fire, Earth's true defenses revealed themselves. The moon's surface opened like a flower, revealing weapon systems that dwarfed anything the Zephyrians had ever seen. The orbital stations around Earth transformed into heavily armed battle platforms. "Impossible," whispered Zarthok's tactical officer. "The entire system is a weapons platform." Admiral Brooks's hidden fleet materialized around the Zephyrian formation. Ships appeared from behind asteroids, from the shadows of planets, from empty space itself. 2,000 advanced human warships surrounded the enemy fleet completely. "Emperor Zarthok," Admiral Brooks' voice came through the communication system. "You are surrounded by the true Earth Defense Fleet. Surrender now and your crews will be treated with respect." The Emperor's rage was beyond words. "Never! All ships! Attack! Destroy every human vessel!" The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Zephyrian weapons struck human ships and simply bounced off their shields. Human weapons, designed by Dr. Kim, passed through enemy shields like they weren't there and shut down Zephyrian systems without killing anyone. Captain Walsh's experimental ship demonstrated transdimensional jumping, appearing instantly behind enemy lines and disabling 3 warships before vanishing again. The Zephyrians couldn't understand how human technology worked. "Sir, our weapons are having no effect," reported the tactical officer. "Their shields are absorbing everything we fire at them." "How is this possible?" Zarthok demanded. "We have the most advanced weapons in the galaxy." Dr. Kim's Mercy weapons were working perfectly. Instead of destroying enemy ships, they disabled their engines, weapons, and life support systems, COS. Zephyrian crews were left alive but helpless, floating in dead ships waiting to be rescued. Commander Hayes led boarding parties onto the disabled vessels. Her Marines moved through the enemy ships, capturing crew members and securing the vessels for later study. No Zephyrians were harmed, unless they chose to fight. "Emperor, you need to see this," one of his officers said. "The humans are capturing our ships intact. They're not killing anyone." Zarthok stared at his tactical display in disbelief. His massive fleet was being systematically disabled without a single human casualty. Worse, the humans were saving Zephyrian lives even while defeating them. "Why?" he asked. "Why don't they just destroy us?" Admiral Brooks answered over the communication channel. "Because we choose not to, Emperor. That's the difference between us and you." In 3 hours, the largest military force in galactic history was completely defeated. 4,700 Zephyrian warships floated helpless in Earth system. Only 300 ships remained functional, and they were completely surrounded. Captain Walsh reappeared next to the Emperor's flagship. "Emperor Zarthok, your fleet is defeated. Your choice now is simple. Surrender with honor, or watch your remaining ships be disabled like all the others." The Emperor looked around his bridge at his terrified officers. His mighty empire's entire fleet had been crushed by technology he couldn't understand. Weapons that showed mercy to enemies. Ships that moved through dimensions. Humans who chose not to kill when they could have destroyed everything. "How long have you possessed this technology?" he asked. 30 years, Admiral Brooks replied. "We've been protecting ourselves while hoping never to use these weapons. You forced our hand." Zarthok realized the terrible truth. For 30 years, the Zephyrian Empire could have been destroyed at any moment. Humans had possessed the power to conquer the galaxy, but had chosen peace instead. His attacks on human colonies hadn't been victories against the weak. They had been tolerated by the strong. "If you could have destroyed us at any time, why didn't you?" Dr. Kim's voice joined the conversation. "Because we believed you could be better than this, Emperor. We still believe it," Commander Hayes reported from the captured ships. "Admiral, we have successfully boarded and secured 4,700 enemy vessels. Total Zephyrian casualties. 0 deaths, 43 minor injuries. All prisoners are being treated according to galactic law." The scope of the defeat was complete. The most powerful military force ever assembled had been captured intact by an enemy that refused to kill. Emperor Zarthok finally understood what kind of species he had been fighting. "I surrender," he said quietly. The Zephyrian Empire surrenders to Earth. As news of the battle spread across the galaxy, every species received the same message. Humanity had revealed its true power not through destruction, but through mercy. They could have killed millions but chose to save lives instead. The galaxy's strongest military had been defeated by enemies who treated their prisoners with kindness. It was a lesson that would reshape galactic politics forever. Admiral Brooks opened a channel to Earth. "President Carter, the Zephyrian threat has been neutralized. Emperor Zarthok has agreed to discuss terms for peace." The era of humanity hiding, its strength was over. But their greatest victory wasn't technological. It was proving that power and mercy could exist together. 6 months after the Battle of Earth, Ambassador Lisa Morgan walked through the halls of the new Galactic Government building. The old council chambers had been abandoned. Too many species remembered the corruption and weakness that had allowed wars to continue for decades. "Governor Morgan, the morning briefing is ready," her aide announced. Lisa still felt strange being called governor instead of ambassador, but 37 species had voted to dissolve the old Galactic Council and asked Earth to lead a new government. They wanted protection from aggressive empires and fair treatment for smaller worlds. Admiral Jake Collins entered the briefing room wearing his new uniform. The stars on his collar marked him as Supreme Commander of the Allied Defense Force. Ships from 12 different species now served under human leadership, using Earth technology to protect peaceful worlds. "Lisa, we have good news from the Outer Rim. The hegemony has agreed to join the alliance that makes 41 member species now." Lisa smiled. What changed their minds? They saw what happened to the pirate fleets that were raiding their colonies. Our patrol ships disabled 67 raider vessels without firing a single killing shot. The pirates are now working in prison rehabilitation programs. Director Susan Parker joined them at the conference table. She had been chosen to lead the new Galactic Peace Corps, using Earth's advanced technology to help struggling worlds. Her teams brought medical supplies, food, and education to planets that had been ignored by the old council. "The former Zephyrian slave worlds are making incredible progress," Susan reported. "We've established hospitals on 15 planets and schools on 23 others. The children who were forced to work in mines are now learning to read." Through the large windows, they could see ships from dozens of species docked at the station. The galaxy looked different now. Instead of military fleets preparing for war, they saw medical ships heading to disaster zones and cargo vessels carrying supplies to poor worlds. Captain Alex Turner's voice came through the communication system. "Governor Morgan, I have Emperor Zarthok here for his weekly meeting." "Send him in, Alex." The former emperor of the Zephyrian Empire entered the room. He looked very different from the proud warrior who had attacked Earth 6 months ago. His uniform was simple civilian clothes. His expression was humble and determined. "Governor Morgan, I have the latest reports from our reconstruction efforts," he said, placing a data pad on the table. Lisa read through the information. 43 former slave worlds now have democratic governments. 18 new hospitals completed. School enrollment up 300%. That's excellent progress. Zarthok. The former emperor nodded. "My people are learning what it means to build instead of destroy. It's difficult for some of them, but they're beginning to understand." Admiral Collins looked at the data. "The Zephyrian Defense Fleet is also performing well. Your ships saved those colonists on Vega 7 last week." Zarthok's face showed pride, but it was different now. Instead of pride in conquest, it was pride in helping others. "My people were warriors. Now they're learning to be protectors. It's a better way to live." Dr. Amy Watson entered the room carrying her weekly cultural analysis report. She had been studying how different species were adapting to the new galactic order. "I have some interesting observations," she said. "Fear of human military power brought species into the alliance initially, but that's changing. Now they're staying because they see the benefits of cooperation." Lisa was pleased to hear this. "What kind of benefits?" "Trade is up 40% across all alliance worlds. Crime is down 60%. Medical care has improved dramatically on 90% of member planets. And for the first time in galactic history, no major wars are being fought anywhere. Captain Turner appeared on the communication screen from his ship in orbit. He commanded the humanitarian mission that was rebuilding former war zones throughout the galaxy. Governor, we've just received requests for aid from 5 more systems. The borderland republics want our help establishing peaceful governments. Even some of the old pirate strongholds are asking for schools and hospitals instead of weapons. Susan Parker made notes on her datapad. We can have medical teams there within 2 weeks. Educational specialists will take a bit longer, but we should be able to help them. Director Parker's Peace Corps had become the most requested service in the galaxy. Worlds that had spent centuries fighting each other were now competing to see who could build the best schools and hospitals. Admiral Collins brought up a strategic display showing the entire galaxy. Green markers showed alliance worlds. Red markers showed aggressive empires. The map was mostly green now, with only a few small red areas remaining. The void-touched empire is still causing problems in Sector 47, he reported. But they're down to less than 20 worlds. Most of their former territory has joined the alliance. Lisa studied the map. What's our response? Same as always. We offer them the choice to join peacefully or be defeated, and then helped to rebuild. Captain Walsh's dimensional jump ships make it impossible for them to hide their fleets. Zarthok spoke up. Governor, many of my former allies have asked me to speak with them. They want to know if humans will really help them change, or if this is just another form of conquest. What do you tell them? Lisa asked. I tell them about my son, Zarthok replied. He was trained to be a warrior from birth. Now he's studying medicine at Earth University. He wants to be a doctor and help people instead of hurting them. That's what humans offer, the chance to become better than we were. Dr. Watson looked up from her reports. The psychological studies are fascinating. Species that were aggressive for centuries are adapting to peaceful cooperation in just months. It suggests that violence was often driven by fear and scarcity, rather than natural aggression. Admiral Collins nodded. When worlds know they're protected and have access to advanced medicine and education, they stop needing to fight for resources. New message appeared on the communication screen. Captain Turner was smiling broadly. Governor, you need to hear this. The Trade Federation just announced they're dissolving their military completely. They're converting all their warships into cargo vessels and medical ships. They say they don't need weapons anymore. Lisa felt a warm feeling in her chest. This was what Earth had always wanted. A galaxy where strength was used to protect rather than conquer. Lisa, Admiral Collins said quietly, do you ever wonder what would have happened if we had revealed our true power earlier? Lisa thought about all the wars that could have been prevented, all the lives that could have been saved, but she also thought about trust and how it had to be earned. No, Jake. If we had shown our strength too early, the galaxy would have seen us as conquerors. By waiting, by showing restraint, we proved that power doesn't have to corrupt. We proved that the strong can choose to protect the weak. Emperor Zarthok stood to leave. Governor, there's something I want you to know. In our old empire, we had a saying, fear the strong, for they will destroy you. But my people have a new saying now, trust the strong, for they will lift you up. As the former emperor left, Lisa looked out at the busy space station. Ships from dozens of worlds worked together in harmony. Medical vessels rushed to help disaster victims. Cargo ships carried food to hungry populations. Patrol ships kept the peace without firing shots. The galaxy had learned Earth's final lesson. True, strength wasn't the ability to destroy enemies. True strength was the choice to save them instead.